You probably knew it was coming. I mean, what kind of photography channel would it be without a freaking travel video? Welcome back to yet another episode of Aperture Value, and this time Monica and I finally hit the road after almost a year of being grounded in a pile of hand sanitizers. This particular destination was sitting in my head for a while now, so when a window opened up, we started to plan our Silk Road trip. For those who don't know, Silk Road is how these crazy flavor Asian chips get to the Western world. Seriously, you can Google it if you don't believe me. Or better just type in how not to show that I suck at history if you really don't know. We drove to the airport early Monday morning to catch a flight to Xining, capital of Qinghai province. The plan was to drive a full circle covering 2 provinces and most of the Silk Road sightseeings. After checking in, we still had half day and the guide had to meet us only next morning, so we headed to the Dongguan Grand Mosque nearby, which happened to be the largest in the province. I took my film point and shoot GR10 since I still had some shots of portrait left on it. I also had with me another roll of portrait and a guitar, but that's for later. After checking out the local fake Dunkin' Donuts and picking up some yak jerky, we returned to hotel. Early next morning we met with our guide and set off to Qinghai Lake, the biggest lake in China. Unfortunately, I realized that I overestimated weather just a little bit since it started snowing on the way and I was wearing shorts. Consequently, we froze our asses instantly as we got off the car. That whole day was too cold to take pictures, so I didn't come up with any good ones. After that, we went to Chaka Lake, which is a salt lake not far away. On the way, we stopped by to take pictures of snowy mountains. Time has come to take out my X-T3. At the lake, besides our ass has been frozen, strong cold wind added up to blow off everything else. Seriously, I couldn't even pick up my hat to press the shutter. After all these grains of salt under my feet becoming once in my life, my spirits went down, but luckily the next day we went further west towards the Gobi Desert. Their temperatures were more sympathetic to my shudder finger and other fingers. Our guide picked us up in the morning to drive to another salt lake. On the way, we stopped in one Insta-famous place where we first tasted some of the desert. The winds there were also more moderate, so I could find a lodge and drown. After we arrived to the lake, the name of which is this, it was time for me to insert a fresh roll of Ektar into my Ricoh. It was the first time I've used Ektar. Bye-bye, Portra. Hello, Ektar. Next stop was Yada National Park. It is located in a desert area and is famous for its rock formations. It's desert time.
Get to the top there.
It took 700,000 years for Mother Nature to create it. She definitely took her time on this one, just like I take my time with the videos for this channel. Next up was another province called Gansu, which stretches along the Silk Road. We stopped in the town of Danhuan, where first sightseeing was a World Heritage Site, Mogao Caves. There they have lots of Buddha statues and different artifacts from various periods of Silk Road history. But even more rare exhibit I found was a dude carrying Pentax DSLR. Hashtag Pentax not dead. Unfortunately, taking pictures wasn't allowed inside, even with a phone, so I just took a couple from the outside with my GR10. After lunch, we headed to the pinnacle of the whole trip, Singing Sands or Mingsha Mountain. Our guide brought us to a nice spot away from crowds, as introverted as it can get. And let me tell you, it was f***ing awesome. I made it! Endless sands, clean sky, and great views made us run all over the place and take pictures like crazies. Or like those grandpas with huge tele-zooms in flower parks. I think this is where DJI shot its promo pictures for Mavic Air 2. Tell me if you know for sure. Here I expected Akhtar to shine. It was a good hike and definitely an ultimate desert experience for me and my Vans. Same day at night we came back to try to take some astro photos, but the sand buggy lights and the fireworks were constantly leaking light into the shots, or maybe I just suck at astro.
You just suck!
Anyway, this is the best I came up with. The following morning we hit the road again and quickly stopped for lunch and visited Diaoyu Pass, which was the westernmost fortress of the Ming Dynasty Great Wall. We were in a hurry to make it in time to our main destination that day, so we just walked around very quick. There's an interesting legend about the Diaoyu Pass. When construction was planned, the official in charge asked the designer to estimate the number of bricks required. The designer ended up with 99,999 bricks in total. The official was like, "Are you nuts? Just say 10,000." But after construction ended, they found that actually exactly one brick was left over. That brick was put loose on one of the gates and it's still there. The moral of the story: don't doubt an artist. I know better when it's misfocused or overexposed, okay? Finally, we arrived to Dangxia, commonly known as Rainbow Mountains. With huge crowds and bus lines, we barely made it for the sunset. As we got off another bus, Tom Cruise arrived to personally congratulate me with the finishing of my first role of Akhtar in my life. I switched to my last role of Portra 400.
Change. Back to Portra.
Obviously, the place is huge, and so the time we had was enough only for the main spots. Next day, we headed back to Sinin Airport. On the way, we took a few detours as the road was passing through the mountains. Only in the end I noticed that our guide's car has pre-installed CPI filter. We had a lunch in this beautiful place with Snow Peak Mountains in the background and lots of sheep running around. The last stop was at a side road on the top of the mountain ridge. And that is it. We safely got back home and no yak was hurt. Well, except for that yak jerky. Did I learn something new? Can you get a sunburn even if it's cold? Yep. Do I need to be more careful with my GR10? Absolutely. Should I make travel episodes shorter in the future? Yeah, maybe. Nevertheless, the trip was great and I hope you enjoyed this video the same way I enjoyed the riding along the Silk Road. But come on, let's be honest, the whole point of it was to make you jealous, so see ya.